I would like to greet all the Israelites between the nations in Israel and all four corners of the earth with Shalom. And I'm going to this day to speak about the counting of Shavuot. And I invite you to follow with me in the Vaikra, the book of Vaikra, chapter 23, verses 15 and 16. From the day after the Shabbat, the day you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, count off 7 full weeks. Count off 50 days up to the day after the seventh Shabbat, and then present an offering of new grain to Yahweh. Well, correctly determining covenant Shavuot, Pentecost, the gathering feast of the wheat harvest. Isman Natam Toratenu, time of the give or covenant Torah. But modern traditional religions, being ignorant, disconnected from agriculture, does not recognize that the appointed times of Yahweh, the covenanter of Israel, are based on the annual agricultural cycle. Therefore, the dates decreed by traditional religion contradict the covenant Torah, which in turn nullifies the power thereof. We are commanded to diligently comply with the specific decrees of the covenanter or suffer the bitter consequence. Shavuot is one of the third Shalosh Regalim, the three important pilgrim festivals, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, when all males are commanded to appear before Yahweh, as noted in Deuteronomy 16:16. You can verify the other verses in Exodus chapter 23, verses 14 to 17, and the chapter 34 and verse 23. And 3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahweh Elohim, your Elohim, in the place which he shall choose, which is Yerushalayim, my city. Devarim 16, 19, 12. Shavuot is not connected with the Passover. Unleavened bread has no fixed date as taught by Judaism, rabbinic post-temple, but is a separate and flowing feast by itself, because Shavuot is linked to the beginning of the barley harvest. Take note of the important criteria to correctly determine the feast of Shavuot. 7 weeks you shall count for yourself. Please note the covenant's formula to determine Shavuot. When you begin to sickle the ripe barley grain, normally beginning May in Israel, then you shall begin to count 7 weeks. More details on the how are provided in Leviticus 23, 15 to 16. And you shall celebrate the Feast of Weeks, Shavuot, unto Yahweh Elohim, with a tribute of a free will offering proportionate with the blessing Yahweh Elohim has given you. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh Elohim, you and your son and your daughter, and your male and female servants, and the Levite who is in your town. And the stranger, and the orphan, and the widow who are in your midst, in the place where Yahweh Elohim chose to establish his name at Jerusalem, my city. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Mitzrayim, Egypt, and you shall keep and observe these statutes. Vayikra 23, 14 to 22. Note, the time of Shavuot is strictly based on the first sheaf of the barley harvest. This wave sheaf is waved on the Shabbat of the week during which the barley harvest commenced, until the same day, until you have brought in the offering to Elohim. You shall not eat bread, nor roasted grain, nor new growth, forbid to eat anything from the new crop. This is a perpetual statute throughout your generations. In all your dwelling place, you shall also count for yourselves from the day after the Sabbath, Mimaharat Shabbat, from the day when you brought in the sheaf of the wave offering. There shall be Sheva Shabbatot, Taminot, 7 complete Shabbat, 7 complete weeks, 4 weeks, weeks which commence on the first day of the week. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Shabbat, thus always on the first day of the week. Then you shall present a new grain offering unto Yahweh. The barley harvest in Israel commenced last week of April or first week in May, counting 7 weeks for all the places Shavuot near the summer solstice, near the beginning of summer, on the average a month later than the date given on current religious calendars. Furthermore, having 2 pilgrim feasts so close together, Judaism, would you greatly inconvenience for families? Based on the given reference, it is clearly apparent that these 3 feasts are spaced throughout the season. Passover celebrates our liberation from Mitzrayim, Egypt, and the tyrant Pharaoh, the depiction of this present age of the darkness, during which the earth is ruled by the murderous tyrant Satan. Shavuot 23:15, Colossians 1:13. Shavuot celebrates the harvest of a variety of first fruit from the ground, earth. Sukkot celebrates the completion of the harvest from the ground earth. Note Revelation 14:15 to 16. In the Hebrew text, ground, earth are usually the same word. Shemot chapter 34 and verse 22 concern the feast of Shavuot and Sukkot. Verses 18 deals with Passover, the first feast. And the Feast of Weeks, you shall observe the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the Feast of the Ingathering, Sukkot, at the end of the year season. As established from 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verses 10 to 15, Shavuot is very much about annual rededication to the covenant. And they assembled themselves together at Jerusalem in the 3rd month, as per Leviticus or Vayikra 23, chapter 23, verse 15 to 21st, or Exodus, chapter 19, verse 1. In the 15th year of the reign of Asa, and they offered unto Yahweh the same time of the spoil which they had brought, 700 oxen and 7,000 sheep, and they entered into covenant, Bo Habarich, by seeking Yahweh, the El of their fathers, with all their heart and with all their soul, and that whosoever would not seek Yahweh, Elohim, Israel should be put to death. whether small or great, whether men or women, and they swear unto Yahweh with a kol gadol, loud voice, with teruah, joy-filling, shouting, with hatzot serah, trumpets, and with shofarot, ram's horns, covenant celebration. And all Yehudah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart, and sought him with their holy desire. And he was found on them, and Yahweh gave them rest round about on the time of Shavuot. Well, the difference between us and the Judaism rabbinical post-temple is that we celebrate the Shavuot in 14 this year, in 14 of June. Why do we celebrate in 14 of June? Well, I can explain to you, because we count after. For example, we had the Haggadah Pesach in the 6th of April, okay? And the month of Abib in this year started on the 24th of March, and the last week of the month of Abib finished in 25th of April. Then you count in the last Shabbat, or the last week of month Abib. You count seven weeks, whole weeks. And you're going to get until 14th of June. It's one manner of counting. The other meaning, like you can see here, count of 50 days up to the day after the 7th Shabbat. We must find this 7th Shabbat that Yahweh mentioned to us in the Torah. Then, from the beginning of the month of Abib, this year, 24th of March, we have five Shabbatots weekly, and you have 2 Shabbatots annual. And for example, day 28 of March, day 4 of April, day 11 of April, day 18 of April, and day 25th or 25 of April, 5. And you have the two annual Shabbatots. 7 of April, the first day of the Hag Matzot. 7, it's one annual Shabbat. And you have the last day of the Hag Matzot, day 13 of April, another Shabbat. We have 7 Shabbats, 5 weekly and 2 annuals. And you count after day 25th, the 7th Shabbat, 25th of April, you count 7 weeks, whole weeks. And you're going to get into the 14th of June. And with all respect to the Judaism, but the Eternal ask us to content the holy weeks, not the weeks frictioned. And these are different with them because they celebrate after tomorrow, day 29 of May, and they fix it in Sivan, 6 Sivan. And the important is to follow the words which get out from the Yahweh's mouth, not the religions. Okay, then thank you very much. I hope that the Eternal One open your eyes for you to understand the Torah. The Brit Olam, the covenant, eternal covenant. Shalom.